hard to bet against Jon. Jon dominates everybody. He took down Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is an Olympic wrestler, and Jon took him down. And took him down multiple times. It's a different dude, man. It's like he's not going to fucking lose. He's going to find a way to get you. And he's going to do it clever. He's not trying to take a bunch of punishment and stand and bang. He's not going to point the center of the octagon. Let's go right here. We'll stand right here. Never going to happen with Jon Jones. You're not getting none of it.
What would it take to fight Tom Aspinall from the UFC? Like, what does the UFC got to do?
Said something real wild on the off the cuff. I'll see you guys later.
That's it.
All right, thanks for the happy
Jon Jones, the legend.
Joe Rogan has responded to Tom Aspinall's claim that he would easily bury Jon Jones in the Octagon. The veteran UFC commentator didn't hold back while addressing the growing tension between the interim champion and the reigning heavyweight king. While Aspinall is riding a wave of finishes and confidence, Rogan was quick to point out that Jon Jones has been competing at the highest level for over a decade, facing top-tier opponents throughout his career. According to Rogan, it's still unclear if Aspinall can maintain that same level of performance when a fight enters the later rounds, a place where Jones has always felt comfortable. Most recently, UFC CEO Dana White stated that he expects a definitive answer on the Jones vs. Aspinall matchup in the coming weeks, and if the fight doesn't materialize, the promotion will move forward with a different opponent right away, eating at the highest level for over a decade, facing top-tier opponents throughout his career. According to Rogan, it's still unclear if Aspinall can maintain that same level of performance when a fight enters the later rounds, a place where Jones has always felt comfortable. Most recently, UFC CEO Dana White stated that he expects a definitive answer on the Jones vs. Aspinall matchup in the coming weeks, and if the fight doesn't materialize, the promotion will move forward with a different opponent
Jon
right
Jones
away.
has never turned down an opponent here, or been afraid to fight anybody.
So if, for instance, he doesn't fight this guy, who would you like to see him fight? Or are you going to wait until he fights this guy?
I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. But yeah.
Despite pressure from both the organization and the fans, Jon Jones has shown very little urgency to return to the Octagon. In a recent appearance on the Full Send podcast, Jones sounded almost detached from the sport, saying, "I don't want to say that I'm retired because fighting is in my blood. Right now, I really couldn't care less about fighting. I've been doing it my whole life at a very high level, and when the itch comes back, if it comes back, I'll do it with my whole heart and to the best of my abilities."
What do you make of, like, Tom Aspinall and all the things that he's been saying about you?
I think he's awesome.
Hello, Jon. I have nothing against you personally, and I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you.
I think he should go on and have a wonderful career. He's not in a position to, like, excite me. Because if I whoop his ass, it's going to be the next one. It's going to be a whole new fan base of somebody who everybody believes in. I've done this my whole adult life. I remember Rampage fans years ago, Rashad fans and Lyoto fans. I literally have replayed this story so many times.
He explained that his focus is currently elsewhere, adding, "Right now, I look around and realize what's true, what's real. I see the way people look at me and how I make them feel, and it's an extraordinary thing, a true blessing. Now, my job is to serve that, to give it to my fans, to be reachable and approachable, to let them know who I am inside. That's where I am right now. I've punched and kicked enough people." Still, when it came to Aspinall, Jones made it clear he's aware of the chatter. While he offered the British fighter a compliment, he quickly followed it with a warning. "I think he's awesome," Jones said. "I think he should go on and have a wonderful career. No, I don't think he needs me. I think when you want something badly enough and if you get it, it can be the worst thing that ever happened to you." The comment was both dismissive and ominous, a pattern Jones has followed throughout his career, praising an opponent one moment only to undercut them or question their readiness the next.
See you guys later.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, thanks for
So Jon Jones just got up and left after this Nelk interview. This has to be a joke. Surely Dana is going to have to strip Jon Jones, because this can't keep happening. Like, you're the heavyweight champion, it's your job to defend the belt. And if you don't want to defend it, then retire. It's so strange to me. Strange how the UFC keeps defending him. He's still the heavyweight champion but won't fight. And what is he expecting by going on all of these media tours where people bring up the question of Tom Aspinall? Like, he's on a media tour. What is he expecting? It's just frustrating as a fan. So
Aspinall has not stayed silent in return. In fact, he recently went so far as to declare that Jones was already retired, proclaiming himself the undisputed heavyweight champion. It was a statement that clearly irritated Jones, who responded with a mix of sarcasm and ego. "I love being the ultimate troll," Jones said. "I'm in a spot right now where I'm really enjoying the fruits of my labor, all the hard work I've put in. He's not in a position to excite me, and that's just the truth. Because if I whoop his ass, it's going to be the next guy. There's always going to be a new fan base for someone everyone believes in. I've done this my whole adult life. I remember the Rampage fans, the Rashad fans, the Lyoto fans. I've literally replayed this story so many times in my life.
What are your thoughts there? What are your thoughts there with Jon and Tom? You're the champion, defend your belt. It's a responsibility. I know your resume is incredible. What you've done is incredible. You're considered the greatest of all time. Yeah, we get that. So if you don't want to fight, just retire. You're done. I don't want to throw shade on him. He's done great things, but when you're the champion, I don't think you have a choice. When you've got an interim champion standing there waiting.
Jones seems to be brushing off the pressure, making it clear that he doesn't feel the need to prove anything anymore. But while he appears unfazed, fans have grown increasingly impatient from online petitions, demanding the UFC strip him of his belt to constant speculation about his retirement. Jones is well aware of the mounting frustration, and his response has been one of indifference. I'm a company guy, and there are a lot of things happening behind the scenes where my job is just to sit still and take the punishment. He said my job for the UFC is to do what's right for the company. I could easily just say, I'm not fighting, but my job is to chill, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
I've ever heard. He just announced his nemesis's retirement. And to add to it, Daniel, he wished him well. Now, that's not something you would do of an enemy. That's something you would do of a former foe. So perhaps we are in the presence of the undisputed champion. I mean, he said he was, after all. And let me tell you something that Tom is. Not only is he a champion.
When pressed about a potential return to the Octagon, Jones gave a vague answer that likely won't satisfy Aspinall or his supporters. I think I will fight again in the future, Jones said. I think I will fight again where the future, what combat sports is headed. It's going to be amazing when I pop back up, but right now I'm just focused on so many other things, like family, building my house, and
he's like the longest running heavyweight champion in the history of the UFC, isn't he? But he's only like he hasn't fought anyone. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Jon gets a lot of money for being champion. So I think the sponsors and that paying him a fortune, and I think he's just dragging along, keeping the belt as long as possible. Because it's worth that much money to him. I mean, Jon's often struggled with tall people who are good boxers. I imagine he probably, if he did fight him, he would probably think
that non-committal attitude has sparked even more public backlash, not just from fans, but also from within Aspinall's own camp. His father, Andy Aspinall, offered some of the strongest words yet when asked about the situation. It's stupid, he said bluntly in a recent behind-the-scenes video. I have no idea why the UFC doesn't want Tom to fight anyone else except Jon Jones. They're saying stay tuned. That's the message they wanted Tom to give to people. We had a meeting with Hunter Campbell and they're trying to make the Jon Jones fight happen.
But if he never steps into the cage with you and you two never fight, what do you think that does for his legacy, but also for your legacy? Is it possible for you to be the best and be the greatest without beating him?
That's someone else's opinion, to be honest. It doesn't really matter.
That sort of stuff doesn't bother you. As long as you're fighting the people
I can only control what.
He pointed out the growing frustration with the ongoing wait. We're in June now, still waiting for Jones to say, I'll have a fight or I won't have a fight, he said, and I don't really understand it. He's a fighter. He should be having fights. Why is Jones still sitting around, not giving an answer as to whether he's going to fight or not? There's no denying that Aspinall has done his part. He has finished nearly all of his UFC victories in the first round and holds the record for the shortest average fight time in UFC heavyweight history.
And I believe that $12 million got my own sources. I don't believe that Jones turned it down. Even though Ariel's confirmed it, even though that's believed in our industry, I do not believe that Jon Jones got a phone call matching Jon Jones' demands and he said no. And I do not believe that Jon Jones would play that game of chicken. Moreover, I don't believe that if he did, we wouldn't have heard about it. If they believe it, to the point that they're ready to move on. When they're done trying is when they go book a different fight for Tom.
From a purely performance standpoint, he has earned his shot at unification. His father backed that up, saying Tom has done all he can do. He's fought in the middle of the night to defend an interim belt. He fought for that interim title, and he won it. What else can he do? Sure, he can fight lower-ranked contenders, but then he risks missing the opportunity to fight Jon Jones, which is massive, because he's the champion and the best there's ever been. If Tom beats him, that's great. But what other choice does he have? It's all
imposing an international fight week deadline. Right here and now, I'm imposing this deadline. And by the way, they announced that they're going to do a press conference tour for Canelo Crawford, and one of the stops is June 27th, day before Ilya versus Charles. International Fight Week, 317. I'm imposing an international fight week deadline. An announcement must be made. A decision must be made. That's when the eyes of the MMA world are on the UFC.
Himself sounded visibly irritated, expressing that he's staying prepared despite the lack of clarity. We want some fight news. I'm training twice a day, doing everything an elite athlete should do every day, but without the competition. And that part has nothing to do with me, he said. Dana White was asked about the hold-up during the UFC's visit to Kansas City, and his response didn't do much to ease the situation. Everything you hear is false until we say it. I've said it many times, that's the fight we want to make this year, he stated, adding that he's still super confident the bout will happen. But both the fans and the fighters themselves are growing tired of words without action.
Yeah, I couldn't have somebody else saying that they're going to beat me and not at least fight. And then if I lose, at least I tried my best. There's a lot of politics in the UFC at the top level, and it's just like, out of my hands, so there's nothing.
Joe Rogan, despite his admiration for Jones, has also made it clear that he hopes the fight materializes. In a recent episode of his podcast, he shared a rumor that Jones was asking for $30 million to face Aspinall. The statement was quickly walked back after Dana White told him the figure was exaggerated, but Rogan's slip revealed just how complex and potentially expensive these negotiations might be. I believe the fight will happen, Rogan said. Jon Jones is one of the greatest of all time. I think he'll fight Tom. Jon's a conqueror, I don't think he can just sit back. He also acknowledged that Jones might be nearing the end of his career, and if he never returns, it will be a loss for the sport. Still, he remains hopeful that the bout will happen eventually.
Never seen a fight that we wanted that we've then been no different than the girl's school that you're chasing and she's telling you no. Lose steam. This fight is a smaller fight now than it was 3 months ago. Aspinall versus Jones. By the way, I don't maintain things to be resurrected on the press conference or one Instagram live. I'm just sharing for you right now. Jones and Aspinall was not only hotter 3 months ago, it was hotter than that 5 months ago. And it is coming to an almost crawl.
Anthony Smith has explained how he believes Tom Aspinall is being played by what he calls the master manipulator, Jon Jones, a man who, according to Smith, controls the mental chessboard of the UFC better than anyone ever has. It's a claim that carries extra weight, given that Smith himself stood across from Jones inside the Octagon, enduring 5 grueling rounds during their light heavyweight title fight at UFC 235. That experience, he says, taught him that no one controls the narrative like Jon Jones, not Dana White, not the matchmakers, and certainly not a hungry interim champion who thinks calling him out repeatedly will force the fight into existence. So, guys, subscribe to my channel for more new updates.